This version of It's Erik Nagel has been modified from its original broadcast. Content has been edited to fit this platform.
A message for the ladies and gentlemen around the world and all the ships at sea.
We all make choices, but in the end, our choices make us.
So choose wisely. Subscribe to It's Erik Nagel wherever shows are found, on whatever platform you choose. And as always, leave us a positive review. Would you kindly?
It's Erik Nagel. And it starts now.
Ladies and gentlemen of the universe, the next voice you hear.
It's Erik Nagel.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of It's Erik Nagel. That is myself. Over there, that is the lovely and talented Zia.
Hello. Over here in the LA West Coast.
Phone lines are open. 651-SMITHERS. That's 651-764-8437. And if you want to follow us, the show on any of the social medias, it's Erik Nagel on any of the platforms there. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube. The YouTube has condensed versions of our show. If you want the full experience of everything and bonus time and all that stuff, subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts, preferably iTunes, iHeartRadio. Oh, it's not iTunes anymore. It's Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts, because it's not Google Play anymore. And Spotify is also a big place. But we talked in the past. We're on Pandora now for some reason, but we welcome them. And yeah, you can find it anywhere. If you like the show, by all means, please tell other people, because that only helps us and keeps us doing what we do here. So tell two friends so they can tell two friends, etc., etc. All right.
Yep.
So this is the first show where it's just Zia and me. If you're wondering where Giddles is, you have to go back to the last episode where Zia was missing, but Giddles was here. Zia was out on Long Island. We'll get into that in a second. But Giddles had said that he had to take some time off. He's taking some leave. Hopefully he'll be back at I think he said around the end of January. But we shall see. We wish him the best, though, whatever he's deciding to do. I know he's going to try to launch his cooking channel finally on Twitch in January. But while he's doing that, we continue on here. And then we got to figure out what we're going to do. If Giddles is not going to come back, that maybe we get somebody else on the program.
What are we gonna do?
I don't know.
Who am I gonna say to with?
By yourself. We'll have to get you puppets.
It's just me with a puppet next to me, too, making voices. That is truly insane, Zia.
Right.
Let's not let that happen.
I'm all about that. I think we should definitely do that. We're gonna have to buy you puppets.
Crazy fucking puppet lady.
And then I can have people send me more chili cans.
Oh no, that's just unnecessary.
And we can have a whole thing going on.
Yeah.
Anyway. So we are about 2 weeks away from Christmas in New York City. It is utter hysteria. It is crowded. It's condensed. The weather keeps messing with you because it'll be in the 50s. And then all of a sudden, the other day, it was like 55. Dropped.
Is that...
What?
Oh, sorry. Was that on Monday, 55? Because that's when we left, and it was 55. And I was like, what the fuck? Because the day before that, it was like 30.
Right. So, yeah, I think it was Monday. It was 55. And then Monday or Tuesday. And then all of a sudden, it dropped 30 degrees.
Jesus Christ.
And then snowed the next morning.
Oh, my God.
Right. We got out where I live out in Jersey is just outside of that little bubble of New York City where it's there's like a little pocket of Manhattan where it's always a few degrees warmer than the suburb areas because it's also surrounded by
buildings
rivers
and stuff.
Well, buildings, rivers, the Atlantic Ocean is right there, and Manhattan's not really an island per se. It's been gutted and redistributed and rebuilt so many times over the last 150 years that everything is just a big grid structure.
Oh.
So technically it's an island, but if you can go under any building and there's really no dirt or earth there, there's subways, there's passageways, there's basements, it's almost a living organism. It's like Cybertron if you're a Transformers fan. It's a living planet. So out where I live in New Jersey, got a couple of inches. It didn't last long because later that day, it jumped back up and everything disappeared. So it was like, what the hell's going on? It was just really weird. Everybody's in town. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just said weird.
Yeah, very weird. And everyone's in town for the holidays because people come to New York City as they do. They come to see all the decorations on Fifth Avenue. They come down to the Macy's area where my other studio is for Compound Media. They're all down there doing Macy's stuff. They're doing stuff Rockefeller Center, like I said, the Tree, the Rinks, the Radio City Music Hall shows going on. Fifth Avenue, up and down Fifth Avenue has all the buildings with the animated movies and lights and everything all over the building. So it's just a whole to-do, a spectacle, if you will.
I have to say, you guys over there on the East Coast in New York and stuff, man, you really fucking do Christmas up good. Christmas over here sucks. And it's kind of depressing.
Well, because everybody in LA, like the old adage is that everyone in LA is not from LA.
Yeah,
So-
I get it, but like we can still have a fucking Christmas. There's still some shit to decorate. There's no decorations anywhere.
Well, a lot of people out there feel like, well, why should I bother? I'm leaving to go away for the holidays. I'm not going to be here. Why should I bother putting stuff up?
That's some bullshit.
It is.
Get it together.
They
But
don't-
I also mean more just businesses and stuff. Like people don't. The holiday spirit's just not the same here. I don't like it.
Well, all of this is going on. Tons of people, dogs and cats, marrying each other, mass hysteria. And, we're about 2 weeks away, so it's only just going to ramp up even more as people are feverishly trying to get their Christmas shopping done, which is amazing considering we are now in the age where you can buy anything online and have it delivered to your place. There's no need to go to stores unless you need something instantly. And even by certain shipping standards like Amazon, if you're within, a certain mileage of their fulfillment centers, they can do that day fulfillment. It's like, and in Manhattan, if you order stuff, you can get it within an hour. Like, it's that crazy now. You don't need to go anywhere or do anything, but people still do. And people
Eventually. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, eventually it's going to be like that movie. Did you see Ready Player One?
Yes.
Where they have just drones dropping off pizza and packages. I know they
Pizza
already
Hut.
kind of have that, but it'll be like you order it and here's a drone. Boom. An hour later, you have your thing.
Yeah, you're in the middle of the game. You're driving a DeLorean as your, Megatron from the Transformers. All this stuff's going on. Then you go, whoop, you hit a little button on your screen there and it ordered Pizza Hut for you.
Dude, everyone's going to be so fat because no one's going to have to move or do anything or go anywhere.
Everybody's
Like,
going. Everybody's going to be the people on the cruise on Wall-E.
I didn't see that.
You didn't see Disney's Wall-E?
No.
You should definitely watch it. Do you have Disney
I've
Plus?
heard good things. I do have Disney Plus.
It's
yeah,
on
of course.
Disney Plus. Go and give it a watch.
Okay,
and
I'll
you'll
watch
see,
it.
and you'll see what I'm talking about. That's what they're just rather large people in floating chairs that don't walk or anything. The chairs move all around for them and does everything for them. That's what the world's going to become.
I don't know how people can do that. Even during like the shows I do and stuff, and really I think this is the longest show that goes like maybe 2 hours sometimes. I'm a fucking fidgety piece of shit. I can't stop moving. Like sitting still is so hard for me. On the plane, I must be so annoying to sit next to because I'm constantly like shifting and I gotta like move like this. Like I can't sit still. It's really hard. I don't know how people just sit.
Because
how do you do that?
You have to master the art of time travel. So what that is, at least for me, if you want to, and I'm not really a drinker. I'm not a big drinker, alcohol fan at all. Mm-hmm. But when you sit down, order 2 Bloody Marys with 2 little bottles of Tito. Mix them up. You pound them down. Like really fast, right?
Uh-huh.
Not like shots, but you drink them faster than you normally would. And
Sure.
by the time, you're taxiing out to the tarmac there and you're waiting in line, then you go and take off. And as you take off, you're kind of sitting there, you watch TV, you get in position, like you have your neck pillow, or if you got like a hoodie or something you can make a pillow with if you're in the aisle, or against the window if you're in the window seat. You have your headphones in, either to cancel the noise or to listen to your music or whatever's on the TV there, and that's all you focus on. And the alcohol takes effect very quickly, especially when you're going up in the plane. I don't know what it does, but it hits you a little faster. And you sit there, and all of a sudden you kind of go, and then you nod out for a while, and you're out for at least an hour and a half or two before you really even recognize that you're on the flight.
I wish I could do that.
You should try it next time you travel somewhere.
Oh, I can't drink anymore. I've tried. When I quit drinking like 5 years ago for good reason. I was not a great drunk. I was fun at first.
Right.
And then where the fuck is Zia and where's her clothes type thing. Like just not, I needed to stop drinking. So I quit drinking about 5 years ago, and I just like stopped. You stop hanging out with a lot of the people that you drink around and everything. And then for some reason I tried drinking a little bit, like where I'd have, cause I like beer a lot. So I would like to like have a beer every now and again. For some reason in the past like couple of years, I can't drink without having the worst panic attack. Like as soon as I start to feel the alcohol hitting, I have a horrible panic attack. I freak the fuck out. So I just can't, like, I just can't drink anymore. It's really unfortunate that I can't just have one here and there, but it just fucks me up too bad. Same thing with weed. I quit smoking weed when I was like 16, and I was never able to smoke it again because I think that something about, even though I managed to keep drinking until I was about 25, I think something about not being in control, maybe. I don't know. I can't figure it out, but it's not worth it because it's not fun. It just sucks.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. Like, oh no, I can't drink alcohol. Like, it's, you know.
No, I know. Welcome to the club. I can. I just don't. And look, I've tried. Nobody believes that. For some reason, a lot of people think I'm this, like, I drink a lot, and I don't. I really don't, because I don't handle it well. I'm just such a lightweight when it comes to it, and that's the only thing I'm a lightweight being. But when I try doing that stuff, like, there'll be times like, if we're on vacation at a resort or I'm with family and friends, it's like, you know what? I don't have to drive. I don't have to work. I don't have to do anything. I'm going to go and try to do stuff. And I try to drink to a little bit of excess to try to, you know, get in the mood and loosen up and everything. And something in me just turns off. Like all of a sudden a switch hits and goes, nope, done. I can't do it. Like I can't even force myself to do it anymore.
I mean, again, it's probably a good thing, even though it seems like you didn't have a problem. Alcohol is not the world's healthiest thing. So if that's something that you can't do, it's not like, oh no, I can't get shit-faced, or oh no, I can't drink. Like, it's, even though some people can drink without getting shit-faced, obviously, but it's not the worst thing in the world. It's the same thing of like, oh no, I can't do crack, even though it's obviously not as bad. Right. But you know what I mean? Like it's not terrible. It's probably better for you that you don't. At least that's what I keep trying to tell myself. Right.
For when I was flying over to Europe not too long ago, it was like a 7-8 hour flight, I think. And,
oh God.
And I said, yeah, I think this is where I'm going to engage in some beverages. And it seems to be planes are, if you're not a drinker, a plane seems to be the only place you will really drink a Bloody Mary. And it's not a good Bloody Mary. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of great brunch places or bars or restaurants that have better Bloody Mary recipes. But you're drinking that Mr. and Mrs. T's Bloody Mary. It's like or they give you the Campbell. It looks like the soup can, but it's a soda can, and they have their Bloody Mary thing that you mix the tomato juice in with. Yeah. So you do that, you get on the plane, it loosens you up for a little bit, and then you just pass right out and you sleep for a while. That's the trick to dealing with planes.
I have anti-anxiety medication. Like I have a prescription for it. I just really hate taking medication, so I never do it. But I think that if I did, that would probably help a lot too. I just pass out and be chill and calm as fuck on the plane. But instead I sit there and marinate in my own anxiety because for some reason that's better. I don't know why. It's not better. It's not better. But I don't want to become dependent on medication. That's the other thing. You get those prescriptions and it's like, oh, now you have to take this every day. And I don't want to have to take it. Yeah. But I'm sure it would be great on a plane.
I've never had the problem with the prescription drugs or any of that stuff either. I've never taken anything for anxiety or any of those kinds of things. I've always found a different way to work it out. So I don't need to go. Because I know a lot of people, I don't know how to put this. Because I've been talking about it a lot, actually, with people. Nothing on the air on either place, but I'll bring it to the air here because I don't care. It's just me trying to sort things out. It's not me, belittling people or shitting on people's conditions and stuff. It's me just asking questions, and it just seems that a lot of people seem to have some degree of mental illness is too harsh, but like mental conditions, I guess.
Yeah, everybody's got some, not everybody, a lot of people go through a difficult time at some point in their lives.
Right. So
with something.
I get that. We've all been through that. And I get when you're going through a difficult time, you have, emotional issues and mental issues going to that stuff. But then if things change all around, you change with it and they go away. It does seem that I'm trying to figure out, the argument can be for either side, but it seems that like more people now have mental illness or mental problems or something going on, and at least maybe just more vocal about it now than they were in the past, right?
More vocal about it, and I think that it's becoming more, things are becoming more known. Whereas people used to feel these things and not know what it was, now there's a name for it and it's more talked about. I think also might be part of it. Okay, fair enough. So the thing, and I'm going based on my life, what I've had to deal with or not deal with, is that I didn't know a lot of people that had like these issues, and they weren't really considered an issue. They would kind of brush it off like, yeah, everyone goes through that. Just, you'll get past it and move on. Like, not really a big concern for some of these things. But in the last 20 years, you're hearing more and more people that are on some kind of prescription, some kind of routine or therapy group or something like that. Everybody's got a problem now. It's like you hear more about more people having issues than not having issues. And I'm wondering, too, because I see it on social media, I'm wondering, there are people who have legit issues, but are some people just saying that they do to feel like that identifies them, like they're mental posers, if you will? If like they're sitting there like, dude, you don't understand my life. I'm always like, and they post these things on social media all the time, and you go like, most of your thread is just you saying that you're depressed, you have this, your life sucks, whatever. But the ones who do that and then show you, it's like, hey, I've been trying to go through these things, or I've been reading up on this stuff. Those you can kind of feel like, all right, I think this person has a legit issue or is dealing with somebody with legit issues because of the way their conversations go. When other people are just posting, I'm having this is again my life, it's constantly like that. Maybe it's therapy, maybe it's venting for somebody, but sometimes you look and you go, I'm really not buying it based on their history of stuff. It's like, I think they're just saying it for attention. So, yeah. Mental health is something that I think I'm definitely, as I do more things, would like to advocate more, just because I've had so much of personal experiences with it. And it's something that I talk about pretty openly a lot. And a huge part of that, I might have said this on the show before, so if I have, please forgive me. A huge part of the reason why I'm like that and why I talk about it, actually pretty often. I don't do it on my social media very much, just for the simple reason that it kind of feels weird to me, even though it's not necessarily a bad thing. But for the simple fact that when things were at the worst for me, at least now I know what it is and I can get through it. But when it was at its worst for me, I thought I was losing my fucking mind. I'd never heard of it before. I didn't know what it was. I thought I was going completely insane. I thought that was my life. I was like, I can't live like this. This is horrible. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know anything about it. I hadn't heard about it. There wasn't a lot of resources, especially in Hawaii. There's not a lot of mental health resources out there. There's some therapists, but none of them were really equipped to work with what I had going on. So it's one of those things that's the reason why I wish I had known more about it and a little bit more about what it was. So I didn't think that I was fucking nuts. Mm-hmm. So like that's part of that reason why I talk about it so much and why I think that it's really great that people are more open about it. The flip side of that is I do believe there are a lot of people out there that use it for, well, not even go through it for real, but say it for attention. And that can be really frustrating coming from someone that does have a panic disorder. And I don't say that just like, oh my God, I'm having anxiety, like it's stress. They're two very, very different things. Right. I've gone to the hospital for panic attacks because I thought I was dying. Like that's what it feels like. It's this really weird, fucked up thing. Does it feel like I've heard from like one or two guys that have had it, and yeah. I think I've only experienced a panic attack. I think once that I can actually identify, and it wasn't because I have these things or not. It's not a regular occurrence for me, but something really messed up was going on. Right. In my life at that point. And I got to the point where I felt like my whole body was shutting down. Like
some guys I know that have panic attacks regularly or throughout their life say that theirs feels like that they think that they're having a heart attack or something.
So it's a lot of what it feels like.
But they don't, but they can feel it out. It's like, okay, I'm not getting the other symptoms of a heart attack. It's a panic attack. I've had it once where my whole body just felt like I was electrocuted. You know, like I went into some kind of a shock kind of thing. But then given it a few days and some time and working through these things, and then the physical part went away, the mental part went away, you know, in time. I don't even have a ballpark for when it finally went away. I just processed and worked through it and worked past it, if you will. It just seems that a lot of people, and it's hard to talk about this because everyone wants to be offended and jump on you for saying the wrong thing all the time.
Oh God, yeah.
I'm not knocking that there are people out there. It's just we're at a time where, from my own self-realization, it just seems like there's a lot of people that have these problems or that going on, and I'm like, did we not know about this back then? Or are we now just identifying and people are talking about it? Or are people actually making stuff up to feel like they're getting attention and feel important because they're going through this stuff here? It's hard to sort it out.
Some of all. I do legitimately think it's a bit of all of that. I think that there are people, and that's the other thing, where people throw around things like anxiety and panic attacks all blasé. Like I overheard this guy talking and he could have been right. And that's maybe shitty for me to jump to this judging conclusion, but it really did. The way he's like, oh, I was so thirsty, I was having a panic attack, he said. And I was like, just don't think you were. But I could be wrong, and that's maybe a shitty way for me to look at it. But you're right, people absolutely fake that. No,
that's human condition too, where you take something so horrific or something so extreme and use it for kind of dumb it down and use it for simpler situations, right? So that eventually, and it's not good that it happens, but eventually it loses the impact or the importance of that condition of the word. So then, because people use it all the time, like retarded, you know, growing up forever, I mean, even long before me, people were using it as an insult. What are you, retarded? Oh, right. Yeah, absolutely. But then it was becoming more and more of a thing. There was more attention put on it, and then you were like, dude, you can't really, it's an actual condition. Right. That if you're doing that, it softens the word and the impact of it, so these people weren't getting the help that they need and what have you. Same thing like you were just saying. It's like, oh, I'm having a panic attack, or I'm having a heart attack, I'm all this. It's like, no, you can't say that. You can't say these horrific things were happening when they weren't happening, for the sense of, we're in a time now where everything is over exaggerated and people are over emotional when they're like, oh my God, it was literally this. No, it wasn't. Or like, I'm obsessed with this. No, you're not. You're not obsessed with this. You're a fan of these things. You have an interest in these things. Everything is so over-exaggerated that it's lost all meaning and has become commonplace in just, not even pop culture, just in the lexicon of speech.
No, you're absolutely right about that. And it's the same sort of thing when people bring up, oh my God, my brain completely, I had a point and my brain was like, nope, just kidding. You're not going to remember what you were going to say. But yeah, people over exaggerate things to this crazy degree, and then it takes away meaning from the real issues. And it's really kind of unfortunate, because then people take it. Oh, that's what I was going to say. People don't take it as seriously. It's the same sort of thing out here with everybody and their fucking gluten allergy. You're not allergic to gluten. You just are going on a gluten-free diet because you want to follow whatever bullshit trend you're following. And it takes away from people that actually have celiac disease, because then other people don't take it seriously. Like, you know how many waiters are like, yeah, sure, you're fucking allergic to gluten, and they don't give a shit? Yeah. But then imagine if someone actually had, like, I do legitimately take everybody's allergies seriously.
It's not even an allergy. That's the thing. For celiac disease, for Crohn's disease, I know that's another one that's affected by gluten. It's not an allergy. It's a condition. It's actually something that is inflammation. It's not being allergic to something where it can kind of calm down because you had sulfur, you know, that kind of thing, where it makes your skin break out a little bit. Right. It's not an allergy. It's an actual...
It's an autoimmune disease. That's what it is.
Thank you. I couldn't think of where I was going with that. I was
trying to think too. Yeah.
But it's an actually serious issue. So the people who are doing the gluten stuff, then it becomes a joke because everyone says you're gluten, or because vegan is not taken seriously. So that's a joke. Right. And vegan's not for any kind of, that's a dietary choice. That's not a medical condition. no matter what people are trying to say about vegan and vegetarianism or any other kind of things that don't involve meat or whatever. Gluten is part of a serious thing, but now has been belittled so much and goofed upon by the general public because it's the equivalent of saying, oh, he's a pussy because he can't eat bread. You know?
Right.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, oh, he's being, he's pussying out because he won't eat the bread. No, you don't have the allergy. Yeah, if you choose not to include it in your diet, just say so. Just say, yeah, it's not part of my diet right now. I can't really eat it. That's all you have to say. If you phrase, it's all in the phrasing. If you phrase it that way and say, look, I'm choosing not to eat that right now because of my dietary concern or the workout program I'm on or something like that.
Whatever the fuck you're doing.
Yeah. Like you said, the waiters don't care. If you say no gluten, they go, okay, no gluten. They don't want to hear your story.
Yeah, no, I don't give a shit. But the thing is, I want to take people's allergies seriously. Like, one of my worst fears is someone getting fucking sick because of something that I did. I would feel so bad. So, but I want to know. Don't give me some fake allergy because I am going to put a note and I am going to go talk to the kitchen and be like, hey, don't cross-contaminate or do any of that stuff. Don't make me go through all of that work if you're not actually allergic to something. If you just don't want it, fine. We won't put it in there. But don't be a dick about it and say you're allergic and act like you have a gluten allergy when you really don't.
Right.
So annoying.
But anyway, not the point.
I digress.
Not the point of what we're getting at. But I was saying that, I did notice that a lot more, that people were having these mental conditions. And the other thing, too, was... I don't want to get into that thing because that's a whole other can of worms. We'll do that another time. Remind me to talk about autism.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not.
I do want to.
I'm not against it, by the way. Don't think I'm going to shit all over autism. I'm going to shit on people that misdiagnose it, and that's a whole other thing. Because I saw something happen recently to somebody I know.
Oh, no.
And yeah, then because that falls into the same category. Now I'm already saying it, so I'm not going to tell the story. But real quick, it said back in the day, I didn't know anybody who was autistic. They might have been. I didn't know it. We just didn't know. They didn't have it. They weren't pointed out and acknowledged of having this stuff. And again, now every other person's kid is autistic, and you're hearing about it a lot more. And I was just wondering, I'm like, is this really something? Is this something to be concerned that it's happening more now because of the way we all live? Is this happening more now? Or was it always around and we didn't know about it, or they didn't talk about it? So now that's why it seems like it, because this isn't going to be like the mental health thing. People aren't faking autism to, for attention and all that stuff. But a lot more kids are being diagnosed with autism or Asperger's or any of that, anything in that wheelhouse there. And sometimes it just seems like they're quick to go to that just so they can start doing the prescription drug treatment for this.
Yeah.
Or if a kid is acting a little weird. Case in point, one of my favorite movies, Parenthood. Did you ever see Parenthood?
No.
Okay. My mom used to say I was like the little kid in Parenthood. The little kid in Parenthood was running around, going crazy, sticking his head between the railings in the stairs and getting stuck, knocking things over, like just being a terror. But that's what a little boy does, right?
Yeah.
He didn't really talk for much, but he was going crazy, having a good time and everything. He wasn't autistic. He was just being a kid. Little kid, under 4, right? So somebody I know has 2 boys, and the like around 4 and 2. And the 4-year-old, go back a couple years, you could start to see that this kid might be developing the traits that he could be autistic, right? You can see it by the personality and the way he's acting, right? Mm-hmm. Now, he wasn't talking for a while. By two, he still wasn't talking, wasn't making noises or trying to say ma, dad, any of that stuff.
Okay.
By 2, a little unusual, right? Some kids are slow to start for things, but benefit of the doubt. By 2.5, 3, got a concern. It's like, you sure you maybe want to get a check? Because he's not talking, and that's not usual for a kid. The mom did not want to acknowledge it or accept it. It took her a while to get over it, and then finally she broke down and was like, okay, we'll go and check. And it turns out he does, right? So now that they know this, there's a different way of schooling the kid. There's a different way they approach the child, and he's very happy, and he's actually talking a bit more. He's 4 years old, goes through speech therapy sessions, and they're correcting it, helping him adapt and grow and change and all of that. Well, has a younger brother who's 2 years old. And while they were trying to enroll the 4-year-old into school, I guess the 4-year-old is like, I don't know if that's still daycare or if that's a pre-K age. Maybe it's pre-K. I don't know.
I think it's pre-K, and then 5 is kindergarten, right?
Yeah, it's like preschool, and then yes, that sounds about right, right?
I think so.
So whatever school they were trying to get the kid in, they actually had to go to a meeting to try to petition to get the kid to go to the school. And I hate that schools have become like this, because you see it in the cities. I'm sure you have it in LA, where you have to go on meetings and they have to approve you to go to the school now.
Jesus
right?
Christ.
So, the kid, they go through everything. The kid gets accepted, and the school was saying, well, you should get the other boy tested for this as well. And the father said, what are you talking about? He's like, well, chances are if your older son has it, then your younger son has it, or may develop it too. Now, that's the problem. When he was telling me this, I don't have kids. I don't deal with people with autism. They're not in my everyday life. I don't have that much experience around it. But even I know that's a red flag. Wait, you can't just assume the other kid has it because the older kid the kid didn't develop it. It was that the signs started coming out, that you started to recognize that's what it was.
Right.
The other kid, he's 2 years old. He's loud. He screams. He plays with race cars on the wooden floors and scratches things up when he shouldn't do. He's destructive. Right. He's climbing things. He's a 2-year-old boy. He shows none of those signs of being concerned or anything suspicious like maybe we should keep an eye on that. Happy-go-lucky kid. You know how those kids are there. They're indestructible. They run through everything. They fall downstairs. They're doing all this stuff, laughing his ass off all the way through.
Yeah.
The kid, there's no way this kid needs to be diagnosed. They still had to go and do it because the school had some affiliation, I guess, with the daycare that they were going to use.
So in order for him to go to that daycare, he had to go get tested for autism. That's basically what the school is saying.
I'm not 100% sure.
Something like that.
I got to find out more. I'm not 100% sure. I know it had something to do with the preschool, but they wind up bringing the kid in for the younger kid for testing. And, the father's talking to me about it, and he thinks it's bullshit. I was like, I think it's bullshit too. Again, not my kid. I think it's bullshit too, because you just can't assume that one kid has it, that the other kid
especially if they're not exhibiting any signs.
Exactly, right? Which adds to the whole thing of how quickly they want to just diagnose everybody with autism. And going back to my other thing is, does everybody have autism, or are they just now being diagnosed with it? Because that seems to be the thing, that if you're the slightest bit off, there are people who are off, who are not autistic. They're just weird people, right?
Yeah.
So now if you're the slightest bit off, that they're on like, oh, well, he might be autistic. We should start getting him on medication and in these programs and all that shit.
Right. What if he's just antisocial or nervous around people, or has some people have social anxiety. That is a real thing.
What if he's just an idiot?
Or if he's just an idiot.
People are just dumb. They're just dumb people. They're dumb mentally. They're dumb in their thought process. They do dumb things. Like they almost get killed on a daily basis because they're not paying attention. There's a lot of dumb people out there. Maybe he's just a dumb guy. He's not a medical condition.
That's 100% possible. Look, I really do think it's a combination of both of those things. I will say this though, for mental health, the suicide rate, and I think it's the world, so I do think that this is globally, one person kills themselves every 40 seconds. So I think that that kind of thing should be taken seriously. And I think that mental illness is definitely something that is real and probably a lot worse than people realize. But there are also people that do it for attention, and that sucks too, because it, again, takes away validity from the people who are actually going through it.
I don't doubt that it's not real. I've seen people that are bipolar, where I used to think bipolar was bullshit, but then I saw it in action. And I was like, wow, where somebody, you could be talking to that person about an hour earlier and they're one person. All of a sudden now they're this other person.
And the highs and lows, my stepmom's bipolar. It's fucking insane. It's so weird to see the switch. And you're right, it can be so quick. Like my stepmom would go from on my mom's birthday, because my mom died when I was 6. She got the wedding video of my dad and my mom cleaned so that we could watch a video of our mom and like sat and watched it with us.
Right.
She would go from that to like chucking a fucking bowl like at your head across the kitchen because she was pissed about something in like a minute flat. It was so bizarre to go to see from like this awesome caring person to a fucking terror woman who would like break down my sister's door. It's just it's so weird and bizarre. But yeah, bipolar is a whole other insane thing. But once you see it and experience it, you're like, holy shit, this is crazy.
That is, ugh.
I don't doubt you need medication for.
Yeah, I don't doubt that it's not out there. I don't doubt that people don't have it. I do start to doubt when you're seeing so much of it, of who's really in need of it. Some people could just be wanting the pills, and they want to get on stuff, and
which I don't know why. You're right. Doctors love to hand pills out like it's fucking candy because they get paid for it. It's it's actually really shitty.
I've had doctors in the past for stuff I was dealing with, work wise or family wise or something like that.
Right.
I had a dentist tried to give me Klonopin.
Oh God, that's an anti-anxiety.
Right. And I said, I don't know about this. And they said, no, trust me, because I was dealing with a lot of high-level shit. And they're like, you should try some Klonopin on there. I took it for a couple of days, and I was told I completely zoned out. Like, I lost my personality. I was just kind of... And like when I was, if somebody was yelling at me or somebody was trying to talk to me or something, and I had really no reaction to it, I was just like, all right, whatever. And I started to recognize that, so I only took it for, I think, 3 or 4 days, like a work week almost. And then I was like, nope, done. And I went back to the doctor, and I handed it in. I said, I can't do this.
Yeah, I think they overprescribe the shit out of that stuff. If it comes to stuff like that, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I was prescribed with lorazepam, and that's also an anti-anxiety. It's one of those times that I went to the hospital because I thought I was dying. They gave me that, and it was probably the most amazing I've ever felt. But you're only supposed to take it for emergencies. That was like when you're having a panic attack, and not even a panic attack because I would have multiple in a day sometimes, but most of the time, especially now, I don't really need it. I can talk myself down or just get through it because I know what it is. Even though it sucks, you just kind of like, I know what this is. It's going to peak. It's going to go away. It fucking sucks, but I'm not dying out. I know I'll be fine. But sort of in the beginnings of when it started to happen, the medication, when it's used right, really did save me during that time because it was really, really bad. But you only take it when you need it, when you're having the attack, not just to like deal with a stressful day. It's to keep your heart rate from spiking like that and feeling basically absolute terror and like you're gonna die. It just kind of stops that from happening when when you kind of like because you can feel it. You can feel when they're coming. I can always tell. I'm like, oh great, this is fucking happening again. Awesome. But that's what the medication is there for, and that's what it helps. And I think it can be extremely helpful when it's used right. But you shouldn't just be handing that shit out like, hey, you're going through a stressful time. Here's some Klonopin. Yeah. And then make you drooling while you're at work. That's crazy.
Yeah, because I knew nothing about this world. I've never been on those kind of meds ever up until that one point. And people were, when I was talking about something, I was like, oh, what did they prescribe you? And I told them. And everybody's eyes went up, and he goes, you got to get off that. Said, I don't even know what it is. And they're like, no, that's not good for you. You need to get off of that. He's like, you are nowhere near the condition that would warrant having that.
Yeah, no. But again, doctors get paid for that. So the more prescriptions they write for it, the better, because drug companies are paying them.
Right.
Ugh. They did the same thing when I was 16. My dad took me to go see someone because I was not doing well. And he put me on Lexapro. And I just stopped taking it by myself because I hated the way it made me feel. It was terrible. And I didn't think I needed it. I think I just probably needed more structure and more stability. But they're like, here's some Lexapro. And I was like, it just makes you feel numb.
Yeah, I remember that. And I was just like, no, can't do this anymore. So yes. Yeah, it is real. And in a lot of conditions you can recognize it. But I just, like anything, anytime something hot, you can equivalent these real life things to the latest catchphrase, the latest pop culture catchphrase, the latest meme or whatever. So you could say that like, oh, everybody's got people are mental ill. Then everyone's like, oh, I'm doing it because they need the attention.
Right.
Look what happened when that stupid OK Boomer thing came out, right? Now, everybody said you can't read any kind of celebrity post, a news post, anything on there without somebody writing, okay, boomer, like their original. Like this is their big, insult or my prolific statement in response to what's going on here. It's just a bullshit crutch that everyone latches on. It's like, oh, that's the new thing I'll say. When everyone was saying Yaz Queen and Slay or I stan, we stan her. It's like you sound like a fucking idiot.
I don't know what that is. I stan? What does that mean?
Stan is a take on fan, which we'll break it down to the basics here. Fan, short for fanatic, was not a good thing. A fanatic is not a good thing. It's an obsession, right?
Right.
So then it got shortened to fan and then started softening the word and the definition of it. So then you became a sports fan. Then you became a music fan. Then you became a fan of whatever, right? So fan is not what fan is a derivative of fanatic, but doesn't have the same definition. Fan means you're a supporter of something now. A fanatic,
you like something.
Yeah, fanatic means you're obsessed and crazy over somebody or something.
Right, like the person that shot Dimebag Darrell.
Exactly.
Fanatic.
So fan is what that is. A stan comes from Eminem's song Stan, where he's reading the letter about being Eminem's fan, and you can see the mental breakdown where I love you, my brother and I are big fans, whatever. Hey, you didn't write me back. What's going on? Here's what's going on. Dude, I'm kind of getting upset. Why didn't you write my letter? Dude, fuck you. You didn't write my letter. I'm going to come kill you and all this shit. And then
I'm going to kill my girlfriend.
Well, he said that, all of that stuff. And you just see the slope of the mentality diving. Just going down the slippery slope where it's getting worse and worse because it's not getting the reaction that you want. And this guy's a super fan, and then because he wasn't getting exactly what he wanted out of this relationship or lack thereof, he went fucking crazy, wound up killing, the girlfriend in the trunk, and they drove, if I'm remembering right, they drove off a bridge.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Something like that. And then Eminem's finally gets around to writing the letters like, hey, look, I'm sorry, I've been busy. And, it's like, what's all this shit you're writing out? It doesn't make me really want to meet you or talk to you anymore if you're doing this shit. In fact, it sounds like this guy that I saw this news story about where blah, blah, oh, wait, it was you.
Right.
So Stan takes fanatic to a psychotic level where Stan is like, you're willing to kill yourself or whatever to be a fan of something. And
people were saying that as like, I'm a stan of you, as in I'm that much of a fanatic about whatever person or thing or whatever it was.
Yeah. So somebody adapted it, and it became part of the millennial lexicon, the millennial dialogue language.
That just goes to show what a fucking loser I am.
Right.
I'm a millennial, and I didn't know that this existed.
It goes to show that you're doing other things and doing things right. You're not worried about this trivial nonsense.
Oh, I'm glad
so yeah, I see it all the time. If you look at any kind of female artist, you usually see a lot of the comments in a female artist. Where if you see a performance by Billie Eilish or Halsey. Even Taylor Swift and stuff like that. If you look at their Instagram and you read the comments on there, it's like, we stan her so much, or we stan her cats. And you're like, her fucking cats? Really? That's fucking crazy.
Oh, God.
But, yeah, so that's where the whole stan thing comes from. But, meaning, where were we going with this? What was it about?
We were talking about just like the culture of okay, boomer. And
of over-exaggerating everything. Yeah. So the okay boomer kind of thing, when everyone was starting to use that, was the equivalent of everyone just latching onto something and saying it because it thinks it makes them part of a collective, makes them part of the in crowd and all that shit. And people are more... It's a weird thing to try to figure out. People are more concerned about issues and stuff in the world, about people's rights and being kinder to people, but then they're not when it comes to being online. Like, they're very nasty and malicious and try to ruin people's lives over things. Mm-hmm. And yet, it's just all very confusing because they're all hypocritical. Everything they do is for the most part, direct correlation to stuff that negates what they were trying to do and talk about. So they say things like, it's like, you got to be kinder to people. You got to be able to, but then online they're doing all this horrific shit.
Yeah. That's why I'm so fucking cynical when it comes to all of these, guess, social justice warriors or all of those people. I'm sure some of them come into it with good intentions, but I feel like everyone is so fucking full of shit. Like, I don't believe that they really feel that way. I just think that they're all shitty people who act like they're amazing so that they look amazing. They're not doing it for the real cause or to get behind. I mean, look, I'm not saying everyone. There's obviously people who really believe that and really want to get behind these causes. That's fine. But I feel like people just jump on this bandwagon so it makes them seem like a good person, when in reality they're a shitty person. They just act like they're a good person because they, are so gender fucking fluid, whatever it is that they're supporting
now I'm remembering what I was getting at. So how they are online is not how people are in the real world.
Yeah.
And when they can't deal with stuff online, they're one way, and when they get to the real world and it's not the way they envision it, or it's not the way that they're the thread that they follow, the world that they follow online, it doesn't align with the real world. They can't handle it. Yeah. They go crazy. They have all these mental issues. They can't handle any kind of criticism. They can't handle any contradiction to all that. Yeah, people are just psychos. They're nuts.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Those people that, talk about how much words hurt and you should really be careful what you say and using the right this and safe space that and blah, blah, blah. I just think they don't have a grasp on the reality of the world. And the people that are like that and get offended at words and things that they hear, instead of just saying like, oh, that was a shitty, even if someone's not joking. Like, I'm taking comedy completely out of this because I firmly believe that comedians should be able to joke about anything. That's kind of the point of comedy.
Right.
Especially if it's done well. But I can look at like a shitty joke and be like, oh, that was just a shitty joke. Not, oh, that guy's a racist asshole. I was like, no, that just wasn't a good joke. That's beside the point. I'm excluding that. I'm talking about people who actually mean those shitty things that they say. Yeah, it sucks that they say it. But the reality is that those people are never going to go away. The world is never going to be perfect where everybody is this amazing person. Assholes are always going to exist. It's like those people who walk around saying, oh, girls shouldn't have to worry about getting raped. No, in a perfect world, they shouldn't. But you also shouldn't have to get, like, you're not going to be able to tell a murderer, hey, don't murder. People know murder's bad. There's going to be murderers out there anyway, and you should take the precautions against, like, if you're in certain areas, maybe don't walk around at night. Whatever it is that you have to do. These people live in this fantasy land that the world is going to be perfect and everybody is this amazing person and they can have their safe spaces. When the fact of the matter is that humans are animals and some of them are just fucked up. Some of there's something wrong in their minds, and the world is never going to be that way. And if you can't handle someone saying something offensive instead of being like, wow, that was a shitty thing to say, and moving on with your life, you are in for a very, very rough life. Because if you can't handle that, how are you going to handle anything else? It sucks that there are shitty people out there, but that's not going to change. It's just like...
All right, I do have to say, I didn't think I would have to...
I'm going on rants.
No, it's okay. I didn't think I would have to actually take a moment to specify this, but now that we're at this point, I'm going to have to do it. Zia, I got to tell you, don't murder.
What? You mean I can't go around doing that?
No.
Oh,
no,
shit.
Zia. No.
Damn.
Do not murder. No.
Aw,
and then she goes and murders.
Telling me it's bad, I guess I won't do it.
Then if you go and murder, then I'm gonna have to grab you by the hair and rub your nose in it. See what you did? Do not murder. No murder. You don't like it, do you? No. You go think about what you did, Zia.
Just go to the corner with blood dripping off of my face of the person, just being like, oh,
go in your crate. Go lay down.
Oh, God. But it is. It's so ridiculous. It's like everyone knows that rape and murder is bad. The people that are doing it don't fucking care. Oh, it's just silly.
That could be a good show title. No, don't murder Zia. Or though it could be read, don't murder Zia, which, like, who's trying to murder Zia? Nobody's trying to murder Zia. It's Zia is the one that has the problem with murdering. We have to constantly tell her no. Let's try to move away from this and try to do something a little bit more fun before we got to take a break. Let's talk about the fact that you were not here for last week's show. And Look, we've been talking about trying to get you guys to come out to New York and, to do a meetup, to maybe do a show or two out here and go around and Giddles and I will take you to a lot of fine, food spots because Zia's all about that. If you haven't listened to some of the other episodes, Zia's all about trying new foods and all the stuff she can't get on the West Coast.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere, all of a sudden, you're going to Long Island.
Woohoo! It was so exciting. My husband was in his friend's wedding. He was a groomsman. And so we kind of planned this, I want to say about a year ago, actually. We got the tickets.
Then why didn't you tell us in advance? Like, you told us, oh, yeah, I don't think I could be there next week. We have to go to Long Island. Like, this was a spur-of-the-moment thing.
No, I just forgot because we got it so long. We got it so long ago. And then I was like, oh, fuck, that's right. And it was like this exciting... Like, it was only 4 days. It was literally only 4 days. And we spent the entire time that we were there doing wedding stuff. We thought about, when we bought the ticket, extending it. But I'm glad we didn't because we weren't in a good financial situation then. And we're not really in a good financial situation now.
Right.
Luckily, he got a deal through Expedia where...
.com.
Because of yep. The hotel was like pretty much free. It was really, really cheap. So that helped. And we, because of the wedding, there was like the rehearsal dinner, then the wedding where there was food, and then there was a brunch the next day. So most of the food was paid for. So this trip didn't cost us much, which is kind of why it worked out well. But literally right before we're going to go, I got a horrible stomach bug. I thought it was food poisoning, but some other people at work had it too, the exact same thing. So I was like, oh, it must be something going around. Puking up everything. I had to call in sick the day before I left from work. And I thought we weren't going to be able to go. Puking up everything. Couldn't keep anything down. Could barely drink water. Like writhing in pain. My fever shot up to like 101.
Yeah.
Huh?
It's not good to fly in that condition.
No. I was really, really nervous we weren't going to be able to go. And Nick got home and was like, hey, should I cancel? Like, for real? He's like, I don't mind.
At least at this point,
I really want to go.
At least at this point, as much as that sucks, it's good that you had it before you take the flight, because it's worse when you take a flight, you get to where your destination is, and you develop that because somebody on the flight had it or had something and it was contagious, and then you got it. So now you get to your I don't want to say vacation destination, but where you were traveling to, and then all of a sudden that trip is ruined because now you develop that, and then who knows when you can go back.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely true. Because if you get one vacation a year, if that, this was our first one in 3 years, that would suck so bad if it was ruined. But yeah, I was really nervous. But it turns out it was about a 24-hour bug because I woke up the next day. I'm not going to say fine. I still felt shaky and not great, but the fever was gone and I stopped throwing up and I could keep saltines and fluids down. So we went anyway, and I'm really glad we did. The only thing that did kind of suck is I did not get to eat the amount of food that I wanted to eat because my stomach was still a little iffy.
Right.
So I had to kind of take it easy, which was a bummer. But I did get...
All right, hold on, everybody. How much does that suck where if you're going to go to... I know if you're living in the East Coast and you're thinking, oh, so what? You didn't get to eat pizza or Italian or something like that because we have it every day. But say you were going over to France, right? And you really wanted French food and you go there and you're sick and you're like, oh, I'm going to try all these things. And because of this bug, you're like, oh, I really can't try a lot of these pastries. I can't try whatever. That's what she's going through here. So you finally get out to New York after weeks of Gills and I pretty much, I don't want to say teasing you, but taunting you, I guess. With about all the great food and stuff that's out here. And you're like, oh, I'm going to be out on the East Coast. I'm going to get to try all of these things. And now you might not be able to do so.
Yeah, I still ate, definitely. There was one night where I was literally lying in bed going, oh, God, why did I? Because I overdid it more than I should have because I couldn't help myself.
Right.
I was like, why did I, like, Nick's rubbing my back. I'm like, my stomach hurts so bad. He's like, you're supposed to be taking it easy. I was like, I can't. But I did have, because we did get pizza. By the way, we tried, oh my God, I don't know if anyone's Barstool Sports fans or if you watched the One Bite.
Yep. Yeah.
Yes.
What's his Dan, the El Presidente?
El Presidente, yeah.
It's name.
His name is, I watch these all the time, and his name is completely escaping me right now.
Anyway.
What is the matter with me? Anyway, we went to Defara, which is, I think it's a 9.4. He rated it on the One Bite channel, I guess you could call it.
Dave Portnoy. I don't know why I said
yes, Dave Portnoy. Thank you. Dave Portnoy. Hello.
I never remember his name. All right, go ahead.
But yeah, we went to Defara, which Nick has been wanting to go to for years. He just never got to because the line's always long. Actually went. It was our last day on our way back to the airport. We're like, we're just going to go see if we can go. And we went. And I got to say, it was pretty fucking delicious. Beautiful, crisp, amazing flavor, cheesy cheese.
She's grasping her
good.
face and pulling it in different directions. She's like, I can't handle the pleasure. I need to feel the pain.
And I also got, while we were in Long Island, I got penne vodka, which I think is my favorite, and spaghetti and meatballs.
They don't have penny vodka out by you?
What happened?
They don't have any good penny vodka out by you?
The Italian out here is really expensive and pretty mediocre. Definitely not the same as the East Coast.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
What did you put on the pizza? That's the important thing.
Nothing. We just got it. We just ate it as is.
I do the garlic salt or the garlic powder with it, and then depending on the place, sometimes hot sauce. You throw a little bit of like a lot of.
I can get down with that.
A lot of places that are open air on the side of a corner, kind of places in Manhattan. If you're walking around, like a Two Boots or something, if you're walking around to get a slice, sometimes they'll have the red pepper flakes. They'll have salt and pepper. They'll have oregano. They'll have garlic powder, and then sometimes they have the Frank's Red Hot sauce that you can throw on there. It's so good.
Yeah, Frank's Red Hot is my favorite hot sauce. I'll put that on everything.
So you had pizza. You had some Italian.
Yes, I had ice cream just because apparently this place was amazing. I had a little bit. We just shared some. But that's actually kind of it, unfortunately. I wanted to eat so much. Oh, we went to Rollin' Roaster. That was the other place we hit real quick.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, it's in Brooklyn, and it's got it's like roast beef sandwiches, and they have fries, and they have this orangeade stuff, which is just the most amazing stuff ever. It's so good.
That orangeade stuff is like what they have if you find a Nathan's anywhere. They have those old machines where the stuff is constantly recirculating, like it's like raining on the inside of the container, and they do the lemonade and they do the orangeade.
Nathan's is somewhere I haven't been to yet. I need to go to Nathan's.
I've never been to Rollin' Roasters. I'm looking at it here online.
Really good.
Looks okay. It looks like it's got the old Roy Rogers lettering.
Yeah, it's a staple of that area. It's been there forever.
Sheepshead Bay. All right.
Sheepshead Bay, yeah. That's where my husband is from. So
looks pretty good. Yeah, if I'm out that way, I'll try it.
Yeah, give it a shot.
They got cheese fries.
And the other thing that cheese fries.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, the other thing that I absolutely love, because we were in Port Jeff in Long Island, and what I absolutely fucking love about just the East Coast in general, and I said this before, just how fucking Christmassy it is. They had roast your own marshmallows. They had free hot chocolate at the Christmas tree lighting. Like, they just do all this cool Christmassy shit. It's decorated to the gills, like all the buildings. They had the what is it? Not a Christmas Carol. It's the Charles Dickens Festival, where they had all these people dressed up in the Charles Dickens like outfits and stuff going around singing carols. I was like, this is fucking awesome.
Well, good. I'm glad you had a good time.
Thank you.
They don't do much Christmas out in LA, right?
They really don't. It's just such a bummer.
I think it's because a lot of people aren't from LA, and whenever holiday or vacation time comes, there's certain. I've noticed dealing with people in LA more so than New York, because it's just a different mentality. When you're East Coast mindset, when you're working, I'm not saying that everyone, we're better than everybody, but the drive, at least, that's instilled into you is that you're trying to get as much done as you can. So that's why a lot of East Coasters are miserable, or they're just aggravated, because like, I got a million things to do. I got to get this stuff done, and you're doing multiple things at the same time and trying to get things done. LA is very laid back, and it's more about them talking about the work that they do rather than doing the work they're supposed to do. And
absolutely.
And talking about the people that they know or that they're connected with rather than actually making the network and connections with these people to get things done. And then they go to lunch forever, and then they knock off early because they're going to go for drinks or they're going to go out for do whatever, and then they're going to go to dinner. Like, it's difficult to when I was running the channel over at SiriusXM and having to deal with some of the staffs that they added new shows to our channel, and some of them were out of California, and they are not used to having somebody on their ass to get shit done. And when it's like, dude, you guys are going to take off in about a week or so, right? Yeah. What do you have, the best of programming, or do you have stuff ready for when you're off? Oh, we haven't gotten to that. We'll figure it out it's like, no, you're not going to figure it out as you go because I'm also off at that time and I'm not going to be sitting there trying to check in every day to make sure that the next day's stuff is loaded. You got to have this stuff done in advance.
Yeah,
and it was like pulling teeth trying to get these things together because then they're like, well, I got to check with this person and then we got to get this approved. Like there was too many channels that they were incorporated on there, and I think it was just a way of diverting responsibility for a lot of things. And it was constant. It's like, guys, you didn't put the promo in. Guys, where is this thing? Why don't we have this? What? And there was no sense of urgency or sense of caring that you're yelling at them. So this needs to be done, or we need this audio, or we need this stuff produced. What's going on? Well, we'll get to it when we have time. Like that's not the answer. Figure out a way to get it done. Like that was driving me nuts.
Just do it.
Right.
Fuck.
I talked to somebody from a different industry out there, and they said, look, if you ever come to LA, it's like if you go into a job interview with somebody that's from the West Coast, right? And they could be really good at it too, but companies will more likely hire somebody from the East Coast, especially the Northeast, than they will somebody that was in LA. Because if it's not something specific to being about Los Angeles or California, if it's just business, they hire more East Coast people or people that worked on the East Coast and then came out there because they want to get shit done and they don't want to hear the bullshit. They want to get this all done. It's like, look, I'm going to leave at 3 o'clock today, but I'm going to have a week's worth of work done before 3 o'clock comes around.
Yeah, that's the thing I don't understand is why you would just sit and waste time and fuck off when you could just get it done and then be done.
Oh, yeah. I know.
Like, do other stuff or, whatever else you need to get done. Like, it's so weird.
One other thing you did forget about while you were out on Long Island was that I've talked in the past where we were finishing up the show. We ended the show, right? And while we're signing off, the show's done. We're just talking. And it's like, oh, I'm going to go get dinner or I'm going to get something to eat. Zia's approach to getting or requesting pictures of your food is like when a guy is pressing a girl to say, hey, send me like some kind of sexy photo of yourself. Like they're very persistent and getting to the point. She'll do that and she goes, send me a photo of your dinner. Why? Because I want to see your dinner. Okay. And then, I'll take a photo, but maybe I forgot to send her or I didn't take a photo. And then you'll get like, well, did you take it? Are you going to send me something? It's like she reverses the role when it comes to food, that she's the creepy guy in this situation. So there have been plenty of times where I've sent her photos of food. Ridiculous, but then she writes like really, it's funny because she writes like really perverted things about the food. Like she'll drool and say horrible things like what I wouldn't do to that sandwich. It's like, oh, come on, what are you doing? So out of nowhere, you're on Long Island and I get a text from you and I go and look and there is a giant turkey club sandwich with French fries in the center of the table, and you said something that was in any other situation would have been really sexual. It was just like, what I'm going to do to this thing or something. And then and I said, get the mayonnaise. And you're like, no, absolutely not. No mayonnaise. You dipped it in honey mustard or something, whatever you did with it.
Spicy mustard.
Spicy mustard, which I thought was kind of gross. You don't have a turkey club sandwich with spicy mustard, but to each their own. But you had that. You went to some kind of diner. You had some diner food.
To a diner. I forgot about that. We went to a diner. That was really good and cheap. And it made me feel pretty great because we go up to the checkout to pay or whatever. And the young kid behind the counter goes, I guess maybe there's a discount for college students, but there's like a university nearby. And he's like, are you guys college student? Do you go to, it was 2 universities. Like, do you go to blah, blah, or blah, blah. And I was like, aw, no, but thanks.
No, you say the second one.
I know. I should have just said it and been like, yeah, we go to blah, blah, blah. I don't know if that's why, if it was a discount thing or if he was just asking.
It would have been a discount thing.
It would have, huh?
Why? Because why would the cashier ask that? If he said, oh, you look familiar, what school do you go to? He would have said, what school do you go to or where do you work? Not, oh, do you go to this school or this school? That means they were going to give you the discount.
Damn it. I'm so stupid. We should have just said yes.
Sometimes you're so gullible.
Idiot.
But all in all, so you had a good time on Long Island for the wedding went, I guess went okay.
Yeah, the wedding was nice. It was really fun. The people were cool. I met most of the people there for the first time, with the exception of like a couple, but it was really fun. I had a great time.
How was the flight back?
The flight back was fine. It got delayed by a fucking hour, which sucked.
The remnants of your illness didn't surface while you were on the plane back?
No. Luckily, I was okay. I still, I didn't feel amazing, but it wasn't like I felt really sick or anything still. So that was fine. My stomach was just like, I ate a sandwich on the way back. I was trying to be semi-good, so I got a pretty light sandwich with just like hummus and olives and crap on it because I like those things.
Right. Well, good. I'm glad you had a good time out on Long Island, and we'll have to find some kind of reason to get you guys back out here fairly soon.
Yes, please.
All right. With that being said, we should take a break. When we come back, we're going to fly through movies and television and some Christmas stuff for you. Zia and I saw I'll say unique Christmas special that came out.
That's nice of you.
And yes, that's how we'll paint it for now, and you'll hear what it is when we come back.
It's Erik Nagel. More next.
It's Erik Nagel.
Follow the show on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, and Facebook
At It's Erik Nagel.
Smello, I'm Baron Vaughn.
Hey, I'm Hampton Yutt.
And this is Jonah Ray.
Hey, it's Joel Hodson, and you've entered the world of Erik Nagel.
Hi, welcome back. It's segment 2 of the program. My name is Erik, and Zia's mouthing it. You can say it.
I was gonna say 2.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's so weird though, because Giddles isn't here to say 2 with me, and I'm like, wait, this is strange. I think that he started it, really.
She was mouthing it rather seductively, like a. It's like, no, you can say it.
I don't mean to be seductive. I think it just happens. Do you know that every time I get dressed up, this has come up a bunch, and I fucking don't know why. Not by just my husband told me this, like way back when,
right?
And other people have told me this. It's not just him. Like a lot of people have told me this. Anytime I get dressed up, no matter what, I either look like a porn star or an escort. I've been told that like multiple times, and I don't know why. Even when I dress like not super fancy, that's what I just get told that, and I'm like, I don't.
All right, that's a little weird if your husband's telling you that, but on the same hand, it's okay if he tells you that. If other people tell you that, that's kind of insulting.
It's kind of weird, right?
But
I've been told by a lot of people, and I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, there was a photo of you. There it is. Yeah. So maybe we'll repost this. But there's a photo of you on your Instagram. It's Zia_land, if you want to check it out.
Thank you.
You're in a blue dress. What's the material of the dress?
The last one that I posted?
Yeah.
Suede. It's suede.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the suede on it, the way that the impressions are on the suede, looks like somebody threw their drink on you. Right? It looks like you've got water all over you.
Yeah.
But I think what does it is the slit of the leg there, where the dress comes up over the leg like that. I think that's why some people might think that.
But that's not just when I dress up and stuff like that. Just in normal, like I once picked out this black dress that like wasn't low cut and it wasn't short. It was a pretty like conservative dress, especially for me. I don't like conservative clothes really. It was a pretty conservative dress, and I still got that. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? What is this?
No. But you may want to reevaluate your life partner, your friends, your family. You may just want to go, you know what? For Christmas, you're going to have to go with not, because of all your hooker comments that you've made to me over the years.
Yeah, stop telling me I look like a fucking hooker.
Right.
Thanks.
And then you yell at them and go, if I was a hooker, I wouldn't be in this financial situation that I'm in.
Yeah, I'd be doing a lot better. Maybe I fucked up. Maybe I went down the wrong career path.
You went for the look, but not for the lifestyle. You should have went the other way around, dressed more conservatively, but then she's like, corporate hooker on the side.
Exactly.
It's like
go with the corporate dudes.
It's like Pretty Woman.
Yes, classier.
So while everyone else is going over to your Instagram to oogle your photos, I'll tell you about last week's box office. Coming in at number 1 was Frozen 2. just obliterating everything in its path. Number 2, Knives Out, which the more and more I hear people talk about this movie, how great it sounds. The majority of people seem to love this movie, right? And I'm mad that the whole fallout happened from the screening that I didn't get a chance to see this movie, but I will try and go and see it very, very soon. I do want to see that. Number 3 is Ford vs. Ferrari. Number 4, Queen and Slim, Who Cares? Number 5, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, the Tom Hanks portrayal of Fred Rogers. Now, coming out this weekend in the box office, you've got, I think this is this 2 or 3 for the Jumanji movies? Is this the
2.
second one? This is the second
2.
one? Okay. So
Yeah.
Jumanji, The Next Level, comes out on the 13th there with The Rock, Kevin Hart, Karen Gillan and Jack Black. I think Danny DeVito's in the movie. There's all these new people in the movie now, and it seems to be. I think it's predicted to be number 1 for next week. With everything
I got
else
tickets
that's
for
coming on.
Saturday.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Good for you. Let me know
I'm
how
excited.
it is.
I will. I really like the first one, and this one looks funny, so I'm in.
The coming in and not coming in, but also being released on the 13th, Black Christmas, which is a Friday the 13th style horror movie set on Christmas.
Oh.
Which Friday the 13th actually happening. Bombshell, which is the movie about Fox News, about the women reporters and stuff that filed reports against Rupert Murdoch and people at Fox News.
Okay.
For, suppressing their career advancements and harassment and humiliation and all that stuff. That's all there. That's pretty much it for the 13th. Next weekend is the big Star Wars release, which I've heard some... Again, remember how I said in the first segment there's a lot of just dumb people? I actually heard somebody talk about the Cats movie, which is opening next week, right? And that's not... I mean, yeah, that's enough to make you a dumb person anyway, that you're talking about it.
Ugh, yeah.
But they were saying, and they swore, that Cats was going to kill Star Wars at the box office. It was going to be number 1.
Get the fuck out of here.
And this wasn't my conversation. I couldn't even jump into the conversation. I forget where I was. I was either I was in a store or I was on the train. I forget. I can't remember where the conversation was. But they were saying because of how poorly received the last movie was, that it's going to affect this one, and Cats is going to obliterate Star Wars at the box office. Now, as shitty as some people think the last Star Wars movie was, made $1 billion. Made a ton of money. Star Wars, just for having Star Wars in there, is already guaranteeing you $500 million. Right? Whether it's good or bad, you're already guaranteed that. It will be number 1. Cats... Nobody wants this movie. Nobody asked for this movie. Everyone, when that first trailer came out months ago, everyone was going, "What the hell is this? This is. If you want to paint a portrait of mental illness, that's what Cats is. If you're like trying to describe mental illness, it goes, let me show you this movie, and then you go, okay, I get it. This is what people go through on a daily basis. I now sympathize.
Oh, that's terrible.
So that's movies coming out there. There's no way that's going to beat Cats. It'll be number 2 probably. It would be great if it just comes in at 5. It just doesn't do well because look, you're going to have Jumanji: The Next Level, which is going to kill, and then you got Star Wars next week. So I'm guessing next week is going to be Star Wars, then Jumanji, and then hopefully Cats somewhere further down the list. But
maybe Frozen will beat out Cats again because Frozen is still. Pretty big.
Forgot about that. So we'll go Star Wars, Jumanji, Frozen.
Then Cats.
Maybe Bombshell for 4. And then Cats comes in at 5. And like, wow, what a catastrophe this movie that nobody wanted is.
What if Cats does come in at number 1? What would you do? Like, I mean, obviously there's nothing you can do.
I'll laugh.
Jesus Christ.
I'll laugh
like,
because
wow.
it just shows that this country is beyond repair.
But how many people do you think are going to go just because Taylor Swift is in it? She's in it, right?
Yeah, she's in it.
Okay, I thought so.
But there's a lot of other famous people in there too. I think women will go see it if they're not into Star Wars. They'll go see that, especially if they didn't see. Like, say if you go date night every weekend, right? Mm-hmm. You went last weekend and saw Jumanji. Now this weekend you don't want to see Star Wars. You're probably going to go see Cats.
Ugh, I feel bad for anyone that has to go see that on a
I
date
really
night. Jesus
hope
Christ.
it's a dud. But-
Isn't that like a joke musical, even on Broadway, where it's been around forever, but it's just known as bad? Like, it's just shitty. It's just a shitty musical.
Yeah, it was Andrew Lloyd Webber's Broadway production. It was at the Winter Garden Theater in Manhattan for decades. I think for like 20 years. And then they finally closed it down because Wicked is in that theater now, which is the origin story of the Wicked Witch of the... Which is the one that didn't die in Wizard of Oz? The East?
East or something? I don't remember.
Well, the one that died from the house falling on it. The other one. This is the story about how that witch became the Wicked Witch.
Okay.
Which I would
I don't
rather
know.
see that than Cats. I'm not really interested
Yeah.
in seeing that either, but I would rather see that than Cats.
I just don't like musicals. They're just not for me. I don't get it. I don't like the singing. I don't like the dancing. It's too much of a weird spectacle. I'm never going to like the songs that they do. So it's
Will tell you.
just say the lines.
I will tell you.
Just say them.
I will tell you 2
Yeah.
musicals that I saw that I really enjoyed.
I have one, but go ahead, you first.
One was Spamalot, because it
Okay.
was all Monty Python stuff.
Okay.
Number 2, Book of Mormon.
That was my one. I did see that, and I did like it because it was really funny.
Yeah, it was really messed up, and that's
Yeah.
you can enjoy it. One that I still shudder to this day that I had to go see it as part of an elementary school field trip, Starlight Express.
The hell is Starlight Express?
Starlight Express, I think it was another Andrew Lloyd Webber. I'm going to pull that up real quick. I think it was another Andrew Lloyd Webber production. It was. Okay. Starlight Express was what if Transformers were real? Okay. Starlight Express is a rock musical. The music tells the story of a young but obsolete steam engine, Rusty, who races in a championship against modern engines in hope of impressing a first-class carriage, Pearl. Famously, the actors performed the entire show on roller skates.
Oh, good God.
Yes. Yes.
That sounds truly awful. That sounds so terrible.
It is terrible. And I remember having to go see that as a little kid, and even then, I knew it sucked.
Yeah, that's a bad sign, even when you're a child and you're like, this is not good. Because as a kid, you like most things.
Yeah.
You're like, ooh, bright colors. Movement.
So terrible. But I heard they were working on a resurgence of that, too. Which I don't know why you would do that, but we're in the age of rebooting and repurposing and doing all of those things. A couple other movie things for you. Maybe next week. I don't know. I have to decide if I want to tell this story.
Oh, boy.
But I may have some sort of attachment to the Richard Jewell movie.
What movie is that?
Richard Jewell
is
the security guard that was accused
Yeah.
of the bombing at the Olympics in Atlanta in 1996.
Okay. I think that movie looks interesting and good, but a little bit something that I'm probably not going to go watch just because of how sad it seems.
Right.
It does seem really sad.
I'll tell you when we're done. I'll tell you what it is, and then I'm still trying to figure out if
You
I
wanna
should
talk
talk
on
about
the
it
air?
because I've never talked about it ever.
Okay.
Ever.
Wow.
So I'm going to figure that out. Other movie news, Quentin Tarantino was on Andy Cohen Live recently, and Tarantino revealed that he sat down to a dinner with Uma Thurman, and that after years of pondering and kicking ideas around, that he has an idea of what he wants to do for Kill Bill 3.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited. Kill Bill 1 and 2 are really good. They're
They're great movies.
Cool.
Now, with that being said, now everyone's scrambling to try to figure out, because he said he was going to do 10 movies and then he was going to be done.
Yeah.
Well, the 9th movie was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And the 10th movie for a while now has been rumored that he wants to take a crack at Star Trek. He wants to make an R-rated Star Trek. Right?
I don't hate that idea.
No, so he wanted to do that. So people were starting to think, is Star Trek going to be his 10th movie? And if he does that, is it really going to be 10? Is he going to keep going after that? Now, Kill Bill 3 has been brought to the forefront. you know, and now people are wondering, like, will Kill Bill 3 be his 10th movie?
So you think he's really only going to do 10, or do you think he just said that?
I don't know. He's been different than everybody else that approaches movies. You know, like he was sort of like, when he came out, it was sort of like Kevin Smith stuff. He focused more on dialogue and conversation rather than long drawn out action scenes or special effects and things like that. A lot of the times was just a conversation in a room, you know, or sitting at a diner. Yeah, it was all dialogue driven. And a lot of his movies like that became his thing. That's his style. I don't know if I think he's and also accenting the story with his choice in music. Like his soundtracks to movies are as famous as the movies are, or as famous as the dialogues in the movies. So with all that creativity spinning around in his head, he could be on 10 and he could be exhausted. Like that takes a lot of, if you look at all of his stuff, the music matches everything, and it's a lot of obscure stuff that he threw in there, and it just works and it fits. Writing the story, directing the thing, producing other people's things, producing his other projects that he didn't direct. Like he's got a lot of stuff going. So maybe he's done directing 10 movies, but doesn't mean he's done with movies. Like he might write movies and have other people direct it. He might produce other things. Who knows? Who knows?
I'm curious to see. I will say though, with his movies, you're right, it is a lot of dialogue, but they never feel boring. It's always great. I've even through Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it was long, but it didn't feel long. But for a lot of his movies, the action that he does have is so good and so impactful that it makes
it's old B-movie style action mixed with comic booky style action. Like he took elements of all of these things that people used to kind of look down upon and say, oh, this is kind of schlock, we're not really going to do these over the top things, but he cleaned them up and polished it and made it a thing where now you expect this stuff. Like in the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, who's expecting Brad Pitt to kick Bruce Lee's ass? You know, it's like, wow, I never thought I'd see that, but that's what happened, and everyone was okay with it except China, which banned the movie. That's why he re-released it in theaters, by the way, in case you were wondering, because it's coming back into theaters. China would not let the movie shown unless he cut that scene out, and he wouldn't cut the scene out. So he pretty much just jilted the entire Chinese market because of the the Bruce Lee scene. Yeah. It's good for him for doing that. So anyway, there's word that he might be coming out with Kill Bill 3. Also, before we start doing the show tonight, there was information about DC's Shazam. Finally announced that they're going to do Shazam 2, but it's not scheduled until April 1st of 2022. So if you like Shazam, it's actually, out of all the DC movies, it's a good movie. It's really good. It's a lot of fun, and you'll enjoy it, but you got to wait another 3 years at this point for the movie to come out. And then finally with movies, Ghostbusters Afterlife. That trailer came out. What do you think of it? Because
I am excited.
It's more hit than miss, but I'm hearing some people that are not sure about it, I'll say.
I mean, you're never going to be sure about it, but from the trailer, I really like what they're doing. It looks new. It has kind of a different vibe. I like that it's a continuation and not a reboot, because I think that was... We're not even going to go into the last fucking reboot that they tried to do. Such trash. Was it 2016 that one came out?
The 2016 one.
God, so bad.
I'll tell you this, and I've always said it, the one thing I really did like about the movie, the story wasn't bad, right? I just don't think they were the characters to execute it, or the interpretation of the characters to execute it. What I did like was they changed the effects of a ghost in that movie. Everything had that kind of electric glow around the ghost.
Vibrant, right?
Yeah, very vibrant, where it stood out, because they took it from the video game. So a few years prior to maybe even, I think 2009 it might have been the game, Dan Aykroyd wrote a story for the Ghostbusters video game that came out. The game's a lot of fun, the story's really good, but when you see the ghosts and when they're going after that, they had that kind of bold, vibrant color scheme to them, right? They're almost like an electric version of that color. they took that and used that in the 2016 Ghostbusters movie, which I thought was kind of cool. But we'll see if they use that in the new one, or if they go back to more of the kind of like the faded look of a ghost, where they're barely kind of there, like a photos, like Back to the Future, where the photo's dissolving because time's running out. And they get to that point where you're like, you set the opacity to 40.
Yeah.
If you want to do a Photoshop term, and that's what the ghost looks like instead of being kind of vivid and electric. Who knows? But that was the only good thing from 2016. Continue. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I agree. I do like that. Like I think that you brought this comparison up too. That's kind of like Luigi's Mansion ghosts.
Yeah,
style.
the way they do the ghosts like that was like the 2016 movie.
And I do like that too. It is very aesthetically pleasing. But yeah, I just think it was really bad. But I do think that this looks really good. And obviously, I just love Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd's great in everything. He's killing it right now. So him being in it is promising to me. The trailer looks good. It looks like it has a different feel, a different vibe. I'm curious to see what the story is. I like that kid from Stranger Things. What's his name? Finn. Wolf something or other.
Sounds about right.
So I think it's got a good cast, as long as it has a good story and good writing and it's executed well. I already like the feel of it, so I think it's promising, and I'm looking forward to it.
His name is Finn Wolfhard.
Finn Wolf, that's what it was. I was like Finn Wolf something. Finn Wolfhard.
For those concerned about who's going to be in the movie, if you haven't heard already, like we said, Paul Rudd plays a teacher in this local town. But as far as returning people, you have confirmations for Bill Murray returns as Peter Venkman. Annie Potts returns as Janine Melnitz. Sigourney Weaver comes back as Dana Barrett.
What?
With the fact that she's there wondering the missing father. We'll get into that in a second. Her tie into there. Dan Aykroyd returns as Raymond Stantz. Ernie Hudson's back as Winston Zeddemore. The one we don't know about, and it could be a surprise, is there was rumors that this might be the return of Rick Moranis.
I did hear that rumor. That'd be awesome.
There's
honestly.
nothing confirmed on any kind of official stats, IMDb, anything like that has anything that he's part of this movie. So we don't know. But if anyone could bring him back in there, look, Jason Reitman is, co-writing the movie and directing the movie and what have you. But executive producing is his father, Ivan Reitman, a titan in the world of Hollywood, and the man responsible for the first two Ghostbusters. So for having all this happening, this is essentially Ghostbusters 3, even though it's not called that, but it is that. This would be the project. If he did decide to come back, this would be the place that would probably give him a great reboot to do all of these things. Now, it's based on these this lady and her kids lost their place. They were foreclosed on their place, I guess, in I don't know what city they were in. You could assume New York, I guess. I'm not 100% sure. So all they have left is this rickety old kind of mansion on a farmland in the middle of nowhere. We don't know exactly where it is. And based on the trailer, they're saying this is all our grandfather had that he left us, so this is all we got. So they moved there, the mom and the two kids. And throughout the trailer, at one point, Paul Rudd's character is telling them about New York in the 80s, and then it was like literally The Walking Dead. But I'm sure your father told you all that. And the young girl said, "There's just my mother." So we don't know what happened with the father, what's the story around the father. What we do know is that Egon Spangler, Harold Ramis, who has passed away, who will be in the movie, by the way. Ivan Reitman confirmed he will be in the movie.
They're going to do that thing like they did with General Tarkenton?
No. They have, apparently they had a lot of unused footage from the first two Ghostbusters movies.
Oh, shit.
That they're going to use and incorporate into this movie. So he will be an actual performing presence in there.
Shit.
So they said, like you said, I'm sure your dad told you about that, and there's just my mom. We find out in the trailer that their grandfather is Egon, right? So it stays within canon, and it stays within an acceptable timeline.
General Tarkin, by the way. My brain...
It's all right. Everybody knows who you're talking about.
Yeah, I know, but still, I was like, wait, that doesn't sound right, idiot. Go on.
So now what happened to the grandfather? What happened to the father? And now that Sigourney Weaver is part of this, could the father have been Oscar? Venkman and Dana's kid, or rumored to be Venkman's kid. I don't remember if we sorted that out in the second one. That's a theory that's going around there. Is their missing father? Could it be Oscar? If not, what happened to Egon? What happened to... My theory is this. There's a scene in there where it's just like this yellowish, orangish kind of portal mouth looking thing. And the granddaughter looks up into the camera, and it's a quick cutaway shot. Dan Aykroyd talked about a script spec that he had in the 90s for Ghostbusters 3 where the Ghostbusters wound up in hell. And they wound up... It was like an alternate dimension of Manhattan called Manhattan. And everything was all fire and demons, and the devil ran Manhattan, and this was what hell was, and they were trapped in there. So, taking that concept, is that portal, could it be that Egon didn't really die, Egon just got trapped in hell? We don't know what the Ghostbusters roles are in this, so are the Ghostbusters trapped in hell? Like, you go one further. Are they all trapped in hell, and now the kids find all this stuff? Do they have to figure out how to try to get them out of there? We don't know. I mean, I could be going way far out there. But I think there's something to that old spec script because one of the co-writers for this movie is Dan Aykroyd. So he could have taken all these ideas that they were working on that never used, thrown them into here. So Egon might be in hell, and it might be a rescue mission to get Egon out of hell and send him to heaven. Who knows?
Well, that'd be the only way to explain how everyone's really old, but he's not, if they're using old footage from Ghostbusters 2.
Right. Who knows?
So that's not a bad theory at all.
This one trailer came out. Everyone's kind of into it. Some people are a little skeptical. Like, some people I want to see it in Manhattan, or I want to see it in the city. I don't want to see a big ghost fight go down in the middle of nowhere. So who knows?
Well, who's to say that it's going to stay in the middle of nowhere?
Exactly. This is all they showed us.
You never know.
This could just be the first half hour of the movie that they just showed everything in,
Which a lot of studios are doing that now, where they just show trailers from the first 10 minutes or the first half hour instead of showing you anything from later in the movie to avoid
because
spoilers.
Because so many people complain. Yeah, they're like, "Oh, I just saw the whole movie." It's like, no, you didn't.
You didn't.
They did it with Endgame. With Endgame was such a monstrous property and so many surprises that they didn't want to spoil. They took everything from the first half hour of the movie. So all the stuff you were seeing, they're like, "Oh, that's probably towards the end." It's like, no, it was all in the half hour. So that that what everything you saw, if you were one of those people like, I don't want to watch the trailer because it's going to spoil for me, well, we're telling you it's only from the first half hour, so it's not really doing much for you.
I gotta say, I love trailers. I really do. I love watching them. Whenever a new trailer comes out, I'm like, ooh.
I do too, but I don't like the feeling when I because Giddles and I have talked about this for a while. Giddles had to stop watching trailers because he said, I think they showed us the ending, or I think they showed us something too crucial. And I started to see that more and more. Like, I remember, not Terminator Dark Fate, but the one before that. I think it was Terminator 3 that came out a few years ago.
Genesis?
One of the big surprises in the movie... No, it wasn't Genesis. It was called Terminator 3.
Oh.
One of the big surprises in the movie was that young Arnold shows up to fight old Arnold. And they're, like, on a bridge somewhere fighting. Yeah. And apparently that's a big surprise towards the end of the movie, but it was in the fucking trailer. So
they gotta stop doing that.
Yeah. So I think that's, Bike says, like, look, we're going to give away most of the first half hour in order to save the rest of the movie. I think that's probably what they have to do.
Well, that makes the most sense. And I understand a trailer is to get people hooked into something, but I think for certain things, like Endgame, a property that's big enough like that,
right?
The draw's already going to be there. People are already going to go see it. Just give a little bit. Just give like a little tease. That's what trailers are supposed to be.
Moving on to streaming and then television, some updates for you. Disney Plus, are you enjoying anything off the Disney Plus?
Besides The Mandalorian, which I'm loving. I really like The Mandalorian.
And you're doing the wrap-up show for, or whatever it's called?
I'm doing the after show, So if you want to check that out, if you're watching The Mandalorian, you want to check out the after show, it's on AfterBuzz TV. You can just search AfterBuzz TV, The Mandalorian, and you'll find it. One of the videos has 30,000 views, which is crazy, but cool. So that show's really good. I've been really liking that, and I've been going back and rewatching Gargoyles because I watched that. I had it on VHS when I was a kid, and I watched it over and over. I fucking loved that show, and so I've been rewatching Gargoyles. It's so good. It still holds up. It still totally holds up. That and the X-Men, the animated series, the 90s cartoon, is awesome. So I've been watching
so many people talking about that. Again, that's not another show that I grew up with.
So good.
Is it worth me going back and taking a look?
I think so. I think it gives you the best iteration of the Dark Phoenix also. The Dark Phoenix saga.
Right.
Amazingly, I think it's the best story and the best iteration that we've gotten on any screen, which is sad.
Okay, I'll look for that. But yes, Mandalorian is really good. Enjoying it. Tired of the Baby Yoda stuff. It's not Yoda. It's just called the Child. We don't know Yoda's race. It's probably maybe one of the last existing beings of Yoda's race, or who knows. I did see something saying that the Mandalorian ends, I think, next week. I think the episode 6 next week or something.
Wait. It ends next week?
For the, does it go through Christmas?
Yeah, it does. So
Okay,
next week it's going to come out on Wednesday for some reason, and then the next one's going to be on the 27th.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
so,
it's a weird, I don't know what the fuck they're doing.
No, this is what I heard. So, something in Mandalorian happens that is going to set off some stuff in Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, shit. That's why it's
Because
coming out on Wednesday.
This past episode, he was on Tatooine, and it's rumored that part of the Death Star, or where the Emperor is, might be on Endor. You know, from where there's a lot of rumors going around.
All right.
But I did hear that something happens in Mandalorian that sets off the events or adds to the events in Rise of Skywalker, and maybe going forward.
Interesting.
So that's probably why they're doing it on Wednesday, so you can see it, and then you go see the movie on Friday and go, holy shit, it all connects together, and this is what they're doing.
Does that mean there's going to be Baby Yoda and the Rise of... You just said you hated that. The Child and the Rise of Skywalker?
Who knows? It might be the full-fledged whatever. You know, this could have been... I mean, I had a theory that maybe this was Yoda's kid that he kept hidden. You know, because sometimes that's a storyline where you don't know that people have kids because they keep them hidden, so that it's what happened with Leia, that they didn't, kept her hidden from Darth Vader so that they couldn't find her, and the Empire didn't, knew he had a kid but didn't know where she was. Like that tends to happen in the world of Star Wars. People go hidden, and their family's hidden. So maybe this was Yoda's kid. Who knows? Or one of the last surviving members of his race, and maybe the race is revealed in Rise of Skywalker. Who knows? All kinds of fun things right before Christmas. Just so many gifts are coming your way this season. So you have that. You watching the Jeff Goldblum show?
I watched the first episode, but I haven't watched any more after that.
You gotta continue watching this, because he's lovable and he's insane at the same time.
He's a national treasure.
So the last episode he did, episode 5, was barbecue. He was learning about barbecue, the history of barbecue, and all the different techniques and all this stuff. I know he did denim. He did sneakers. He did tattoos. He did denim.
Didn't you do ice cream too, or something? No.
Yes, he did ice cream, and then the 5th one was barbecue. Next week is VR and gaming.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah.
I like.
He's insane to watch, but he's so alluring.
He is. He's very captivating.
Because he sits there
and very entertaining.
He'll sit and go. He'll cut off his own sentences, right? And we're like, well, now I'm intrigued. Now I need to know. And he just stares off to the side, and you're like, and they hold it. They just let him be him. They don't edit it to tighten it up a lot. They do to keep it going. Right. But when he's going into his Goldblum or his Jeffisms, where he's just sitting there, he's like, yes. He just does that weird stuff. And you're like, all right, he's being very Jeff Goldblum-y. So if you're not watching that, again, that's on Disney Plus. You should check that out. Plus a whole bunch of movies and stuff I've been finding on there. But I will have to tell you about this one series called The Imagineers. It's an ongoing series. It starts with Walt's idea of building Disneyland. And then it goes in through the process of how they built Disneyland. It's a 1-hour straight documentary narrated by Angela Bassett. It's really good. And then they go about how Epcot was supposed to be the next park. But because Walt died and Roy took over, they decided to go through with Disney World and put Epcot on the back burner. So then they open up Disney World, and 3 months later Roy dies. So now they have somebody else, whoever was under Roy, moves up there, and they go, well, what are we going to do? How are we going to do? No, the Disneys are going, what's Walt's vision? We're going to do Epcot. And that was the next stage. Then it goes through there into the Michael Eisner era, where he's building Euro Disney and Disney's in Japan and all this. Like, they show you all the theme parks. They show you how they're building everything.
That's cool.
This last one, this last episode that just came out, they were showing how they built California Adventure and what a disaster it was. Not by the mechanics of it, it's just the appeal of it. The attraction wasn't designed the right way. And how they rebuilt all this stuff, how they built this other exclusive park in Japan, which was right on the Pacific Ocean. And you're looking at like it's mind-blowing seeing how they do all of this stuff. And how they were updating the parks now for the holidays. People were getting upset that they were going. I remember this years ago. They were getting upset that they were going to revamp Haunted Mansion for Halloween, and people were getting outraged, like, "You're ruining our childhood. You're ruining this classic ride." And like, no, we're just doing it for the holiday. Yeah, like all this stuff going. It's really an awesome series. If you have the time to sit down and invest in it, and it's not like it's a big commitment. 1 hour, solid 1 hour, no breaks, anything. Solid 1 hour per episode. Go and watch this. It's fascinating seeing how they figured out how to build all this stuff. And a lot of times they're just in panic mode.
First. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you've never been to Disney World?
No, I've never been to only Disneyland. I've never been to Florida.
Well, that's
so
true that you're out in California, so that would make sense.
Disney World's so I want to go to Disney World before I watch anything because I don't want to ruin it. I just want to go.
It's not going to ruin it.
No,
watch it. Trust me, you're going to want to watch it, and you're going to be so glad you did, especially around Christmas time. If you want to go and watch it then, you'll be so glad you watched it. It's a really great series for you to check out. So there's that. For Netflix, another project that Zia is going to be working on, The Witcher, comes out.
I actually don't know if I'm going to be working on that. They just literally, as we were talking, sent me the schedule for it, and I would have to be going up there to film and watch 5 days a week, and I have 2 other jobs, and this show and the other shows I'm doing. I don't think I can.
How are you going to film 5 days a week when the show only comes out?
Oh, we have screeners, and then we would, because that's why they want it, because it's a binge style show. They want it all done.
Oh,
so
they're
that
not
when it
doing
comes out,
they're not doing the weeklies. They're doing
Yeah, they're doing binge style, which sucks. So I'd have to go up there Monday to watch at 9, tape at 10. Tuesday to watch at 8, tape at 9. Wednesday to watch at 9, tape at 10. Thursday to watch at 9, tape at 10. Friday to tape at noon and 1, and possibly more. And I'm like, I don't think I can do that, which is a bummer. I do this every time. I sign up for these after shows, especially for binge shows, and I realize I can't do the binge shows because they want it all taped immediately. And it's like I have so many other jobs and things that I can do. Like I can do 1 show a week.
Right.
I mean, I already do 3 shows a week. I can't add 5 days a week to that.
Gotcha.
So,
all right. Well, all right. That didn't work out. So she's not going to be doing the after show for.
But I'm going to watch the shit out of it.
Yeah. So Witcher is based on the video game series, but it's not going to be exactly the video game series. It's adapted from it, but they're going to go and do their own thing.
Well, I think that they're actually adapting it more from the books than the video game. So it's more.
I heard
think it's
that it was going to be rooted off the video. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's more the books. No, you're right. Because we did talk about this a while back. I had it backwards. It was going to be the books, not the video game.
But I'm sure that they'll still pull some little things from the video game for those fans. They have to.
Also coming to Netflix, and I'm saying this only because I am going to make a concerted effort during the Christmas break to watch this movie franchise that I've never seen. It was part of my summer viewing list that I never got to. So I'm going to try to sit down and watch the Fast and Furious franchise, which I tell people and everyone rolls their eyes and they're saying, don't, it's just terrible. But I'm going to do it anyway because there's the 8 movies. Then there's Hobbs and Shaw, the spinoff. Now on Netflix, December 26th, Fast and Furious Spy Racers, the animated series. I'm not going to watch that, but I saw that on the list. I go, that's interesting. So they're going to animate it, which kind of makes sense. But I bet you it's not going to be like an adult. If they try to make it an adult about Fast and Furious, an adult animation for Fast and Furious, I don't think adults are really going to care. You know, they'll suspend disbelief to watch something like Castlevania. the new Masters of the Universe that's going to come out because they're going to be more adult themed, less kiddie.
Right.
Fast and the Furious, I don't know if anyone's going to care. They're like, I'll just watch race car movies, or I'll just watch James Bond. You know,
yeah, that's an interesting one.
It is an interesting choice. But there's that coming out. And then for people, I have not watched this series. I've been meaning to, but I know a lot of people do. On Amazon, that Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Oh, yeah. I've heard people really like it.
Just got renewed for its 4th season. So there's some information for you. The 3rd season is available right now on Amazon if you want to go and watch that. We'll shift over to TV. The CW ran the first 3 parts of the 5-episode arc for Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Been hearing about that. I've
You
been
haven't
hearing about
watched
that
any
for
of
a
it?
while. What happened?
You haven't watched any of it?
No, I love The Flash and Legends and Arrow, but I'm about a season, maybe 2 seasons behind right now. I'm not caught up.
Doesn't matter. You don't need to be caught up to watch this.
Oh, all right.
So, well, maybe you do, because in this, all right, a little bit of a spoiler. In the current seasons for this year, there's been an ongoing presence on all the shows. The character called the Monitor.
Okay.
And he's the one who's trying to get all the heroes in line in place to prevent crisis from happening. And then which was brought on by the Anti-Monitor, who's the lord of antimatter and trying to kill the entire universe off so that it could all be an antimatter and he would rule everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
The amount of fan service in these first 3 episodes is incredible. Now, before I even get into that, I don't like the schedule. They did Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night. Parts 1, 2, and 3. Each an hour long.
Okay.
Parts 4 and 5 don't start till January 14th.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, right? It's really frustrating when you're really getting into it and go, I got to wait a month for the next 2 parts.
That's like when they have that mid-season thing where it's like a mid-season finale.
That's exactly what they're
doing
doing
here.
here.
Other half of the season doesn't come back. Yeah, that's stupid.
But you can look, if you have your mid-season finale and it's on a cliffhanger, that's one thing. You don't do a multi-part advertised arc. Like, this 5 episodes is only going to be about this. We're only going to show you 3, and you've got to wait a month. That's another stupid move by DC. Or you should have waited till, like, February if they still do sweeps. I don't know if the networks do sweeps anymore. But you put that out there, and it's like, we're going to do all 5 parts in February where the ratings really count to, kick this thing into high gear and bring in some good ratings for the CW. Anyway, so Crisis on Infinite Earths had a lot of fan service, a bunch of surprises that you would never expect. I don't know if you want me to tell you anything or not.
No, don't tell me anything. Don't tell me anything.
Okay. But they did announce a new show. They showed a trailer during one of the breaks for a new show that they're going to have.
A DC show?
Excuse me. Sorry about that.
Oh,
a CW, DC show coming to the CW. A character called Stargirl.
I've heard of Stargirl.
So Stargirl is like the granddaughter of an old superhero named Star Guy or Starman. Starman, I think the guy was. And he died. And it's this magical staff that only responded to him. And it's been sitting dormant for so many years. And then all of a sudden she came around and the thing reacted to her. So now she's picking up the mantle of what her grandfather did. That's all I know about it. That's all I saw from the trailer. So Stargirl's coming to the CW. I will say this too. Just like when they launched Supergirl on CBS, and people are like, oh, is she going to be part of this DC universe? No, she's not. So one season on CBS, and then CBS was ready to drop it, and they brought it over to the CW, and they're like, nope, now it's part of the universe, right?
Yeah.
So then they did that with Black Lightning. They had this character.
Yeah.
I've never really watched it.
Well.
I think I saw the first episode. It's still on. It's doing okay, I guess.
Oh, is it? I thought it got canceled because it wasn't doing well.
No,
Weird.
it's still on. Unless it's being canceled after this year, but it was still on. A little spoiler. So then all of a sudden they were showing the teasers. Black Lightning shows up in Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Oh, shit.
So it's like, oh, the other property that was supposed to be standalone now is now included in part of this. And there's one thing I want to tell you about so much. There's such a surprise. It's all over online now. But there's one thing. There's another property that no way you thought had any connection to any of this, and it showed up in there.
Okay, just tell me. You can tell me.
And I actually had because I didn't know. I didn't see anything online about it. It was actually a surprise that was kept, at least towards me, for me. This thing showed up. I paused the TV and I went, "What?" Like really loud. I had a moment where I was like, "Oh my God!" Like nothing ever does that for me anymore. And then I hit on pause and then watched the whole scene unfurl. I'm gonna tell you this. So spoilers, everybody. Constantine, right? One of my favorites.
Oh, okay.
Constantine has been part of Legends for the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So they were trying, once they got the rights back from NBC, they were trying to figure out what to do with it. And they said, well, we're going to put him on Legends of Tomorrow. And he's great on Legends Tomorrow. I love Constantine. I love Constantine's stories. So they're trying to do something. They're trying to, how do I put this? They're trying to go to purgatory. And they need somebody's help to get into purgatory because you can't just access purgatory. It has to be, it's so complicated that you have to have some kind of permission. And there's only certain people who can offer permission to access purgatory. So it is Constantine, it is Oliver Queen's daughter, I forgot her name, and it is his partner. Starts with a D. Can't think of the guy's name on Arrow. Black dude.
Oh, oh my God.
I think it starts with a D. Anyway, so those three walking down an alley, and they're like, "How are we going to get into purgatory? I thought you were going to help." And he goes, "Relax." You know, he's like, "There's somebody I know who can do this." Knocks on a door, right on the back side of a building. The door opens up, and you just see some women in there. It looks like a nightclub, and you hear a voice, and turns around. It's Lucifer.
Oh, I know you love Lucifer too.
So Lucifer is a Vertigo comic, which was Neil Gaiman's part of the Sandman property. Vertigo's owned by DC, so technically he's a DC property. Constantine needs Lucifer's help for something because Lucifer owes him a debt. So Constantine's there. That's about as far as I'll go with this. And so they're having a whole dialogue and everything, and you're sitting there. Constantine exists on Lucifer exists on Earth 666, right?
Of course.
But Lucifer knows about the multiverse, knows about everything that's going on, and he doesn't care. So he goes, "Oh," he's like, "What do I?" It's like, "Nice of you to show up on my Earth." So he knows everything that's going on, but is not involved, doesn't care. And this, apparently in the timeline, this is pre-Lucifer show. This is still him in L.A. and his bachelor thing before meeting all the detective and everybody else from his show.
I haven't watched the show, but I know that it's a few seasons in, right? It's like 4 seasons in or so?
Yeah, 5th season's coming soon on Netflix.
Okay, cool.
Which, by the way, because this is its last season, and then Netflix had announced not too long ago that they're developing the Sandman into a property. So I'm wondering.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if will Lucifer end with the introduction of the Sandman within Lucifer, because it was the other way around in the books.
Did Neil Gaiman have anything to do with Lucifer, the Lucifer series?
Yeah, it's his creation.
But I didn't know if he was like working directly on the show.
No. He was, I guess, creative consultant. He's got some kind of credits on there. It's based on characters by Neil Gaiman. Right. Because Lucifer. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just was going to say, I thought that with the Sandman, that he was going to have a lot of, I don't know if I just read that or if I'm making it up in my head, because I read about this a while ago. I was excited. That he has a lot of creative control in that show, that it's going to be like his show, like he's going to be doing it.
Yep, just like he did with Good Omens for Amazon.
Okay, yeah. Which, I watched the first
Lucifer,
episode.
he was, he got it developed at Fox, but then I guess they had showrunners and other stuff for it.
Yeah.
But this final season for Lucifer, my guess is that since they're on Netflix, and Sandman's coming to Netflix, that Sandman, they reverse it like in the books. Lucifer was introduced as a character in the Sandman series, so this way on TV, Sandman's going to be introduced in the Lucifer series, and then maybe Lucifer shows up in the Sandman series here and there.
Right.
You know, and now that Constantine is involved with all of this stuff, it really makes everything fit together well. That if you have Constantine, Sandman, and Lucifer, like it all in a weird way all works together. All the what they do and what they're about, all their properties fit with each other.
Well, I wonder if they will
So
go
that's-
that route.
Go do that. We're running out of time. We really got to get speed through the rest of the thing. Doctor Who trailer number 2, announcing that it's coming out January 1st, 2020. I am less than enthusiastic for it. I was hopeful by the first teaser trailer that came out. I'm like, all right, this looks pretty good. The second trailer came out with some weird pop rock music, and they CW'd the Doctor.
I
feels like Riverdale.
I don't think I'm gonna watch it. I think they fucking ruined that show, and it's a real bummer.
They're bringing back stuff from the past, like in the first season with Chris, whatever his name is, Chinball.
Chris Chibnall.
Chinballs. Chris Chinballs was took over as showrunner and said, "We're not doing any of this stuff. We're going in a totally different direction. New companions, new enemies, new all these things." And apparently the ratings did very well, but social outcry from it was everyone didn't hate her, hated the writing.
It was terrible.
Hated the stories.
I didn't hate her either, but I'm really fucking annoyed that they did the woman route and made it a thing.
They caved to it.
Fucking leave the show
So now in this season they were teasing stuff from the past showing up. Previous creatures, different versions of the Cybermen show up in this thing. Like there's some familiarity in this stuff. But then when you have the rock music or this pop music shit mixed in there, the companions are dull and boring and no one cares about any of them. And now when I saw that, I said, I'll give it a shot. I'll watch it, but I'm guaranteeing I'm not going to like it because it looks terrible. And how long do they keep going with this? I complained about it online, and somebody said from England, he goes, this is a kid's show, right? I said, it hasn't been a kid's show in a long time. And he said,
what the fuck are you talking about?
So in in the UK, it was back when it first started out. It was a kid show, it was a science show, it was all of this stuff. Then it was family and kid friendly stories. It wasn't until they started getting to like Colin Baker where it started getting a bit dark, and that's where I guess the ratings started tanking because then they got to the 7th Doctor, and then they wound up canceling the show. Well, they brought it back with Russ Davies and Stephen Moffat. Brought it all back there. Mm-hmm. It started pretty dark. Like the second or third episode with the "Are You My Mummy" episode, the 2-part there.
So creepy.
Even though it ended on a high note, the whole thing was dark and disturbing. The David Tennant years in that first season where he's in hell, like that asteroid that's like hell, and you see the devil and stuff. Like there's some really messed up dark stuff in these things.
None of the reboot felt like a kid show.
So I talked to the guy. I said, "Dude, this isn't a kid show," and we were whittling it out. And he said he was under the impression. I guess we've kind of figured out the way it's presented to the rest of the world is not how it's presented in the UK, because everyone thinks it's a family kids show. It's like a kid show for families, right? But in the rest of the world, it's portrayed as this dark yet when you had the younger Doctors, dark but sexy and all these other kind of things, and that's not how the British people view it. Which was interesting. I didn't know that. He was talking about this. So the perception that we have of it in America and other places that it's not in the UK, they think it's like, what are you getting all so upset? It's just some dumb family show. Like we would say like, oh my God, they changed something on Full House. It'd be like something like we're complaining, getting all upset about. It's like, I can't believe they got rid of Uncle Jesse. Or just like, what? Who cares? It's some schlocky sitcom show.
Yeah, I guess.
I keep saying That's a crutch.
I don't know.
Work on that.
It's just Doctor Who has such a cult following, and it's such a talk about that is a show that has fans, like rabid fanatics that get really into it and cosplays, and I fucking love that show. I just think that they ruined it, and they should have just made a different show because it's not Doctor Who anymore.
You know who might be a good Doctor Who? Like if they go one more season and then they decide this isn't working and they flush the Doctor out to somebody else, who would make a good Doctor? The guy who's the lead in Fantastic Beasts.
Oh, I totally agree. Eddie Red. No. Is that Eddie Redmayne? Why am I? Is that his name?
You know who I'm talking about, right? The redheaded guy.
Yeah. He plays Newt Scamander.
Yes, Newt.
That's Eddie Redmayne. That's his name. Yeah. That is.
He's
him.
got that weird, charming, offbeat quirkiness to him. I'm like, he would be a good Doctor.
He would be a great Doctor. I never thought about that. I would love that. And the Doctor's always wanted to be a ginger.
Yeah.
Remember? So there you go.
So if it happens, you quote us, by saying that the next Doctor could be Newt.
Newt Scamander.
What else do we have for TV before we get out of here? Next Wednesday, live on ABC at 8 p.m., they're doing live versions of All in the Family and the Jeffersons again.
Oh, sure.
I just saw the promo yesterday. It wasn't bad. They're doing another round of it. The episodes are not known. We don't know the episodes that they're going to do at this time, but there's a whole bunch of other people added to the cast. I saw Vanessa Hudgens was added to it. Kevin Bacon was added to it. We don't know the roles. We don't know what they're doing.
Interesting.
So if you enjoyed it the last time, it's coming back again this time, Wednesday the 18th on ABC. And I think that's it for TV, but I do want to leave you with one other final announcement that made me really, really happy, is that 2K Games has announced a 4th installment for BioShock.
I saw that. We don't know when the fuck we're getting it, but
Nope.
at some point we will.
Yes. I am so excited because I love the BioShock franchise. I loved BioShock Infinite, which was the third one. I thought the story was amazing with it, and I really just would like to revisit Rapture.
I have a what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, I have all of the BioShock games. I haven't had a chance to play them yet. I know that they're great. I know people love them, but I haven't had a chance to play them.
You should do that. Do us a kindness and go play that game. Would you
playing
kindly?
The Witcher.
Please do so. So that's it for that. So that was a lot of stuff we got through today. I didn't think we were going to have enough stuff to talk about, but we took a weird turn at the beginning. But
yeah, apologies, guys. This was a Zia rant show. Sorry about it.
That's fine. I welcome it. With that, we need to get out of here. So let's do the plug. Zia, what do you have?
Follow me on the Twitters and the Instagrams at Zia_land, XIA_land, and usually I post all the crap I do there. Right now it's the Mandalorian After Show, Marvel Movie News, Marvel News Daily, all that good stuff. Still trying to get my stream going. It's not helping that my monitors are breaking, so that's fun.
Stop throwing things.
I can't help it. I
Fists
get so angry.
Fury. That's it?
That's it.
All right, for me, it's E-Rock Radio across the board on social media, but more importantly, the show, it's Erik Nagel across the board on the social medias. Follow us there, like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you want to call and leave a voicemail for future shows, 651-SMITHERS is the phone number, 651-764-8437. And with that being said, we need to get out of here. So until the next time, everybody,
be excellent to each other,
and we'll be seeing you.
It's Erik Nagel.
I think they were yelling, "You're great, keep going," but it came out as groans and stares of indifference.
Alas, we're out of time.
Follow It's Erik Nagel on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. For ways to listen to the show, go to itseriknagel.com.
And remember to tell 2 friends, so they can tell 2 friends, and those 2 friends can tell 2 friends.